This is how to stop dieting and start eating normally again. Hi, my name is Mike Fan and I'm from MPRS here in York, and I'd like to talk a little bit about how to stop dieting once and for all so that you can start eating normally again. If we look at the Latin origin of the word diet, it actually means a way of life, which is contrary to the way that most people use the word diet to mean something that they do on a short-term basis. How many times have you heard people say, oh, I'm on this diet, I'm on the keto diet, I'm on the paleo diet, I'm on the Atkins diet, I'm doing whatever diet. There are just so many diets out there that people treat as some kind of short-term fix, some kind of gimmick that they do that ultimately they know they're not going to be able to sustain. So the reason I have an umbrage, the reason that dieting gets my back up is because it is such a short-term mentality to take in terms of how we eat and drink. What we don't want is to continue yo-yoing from one thing to the next, because you don't get into any kind of routine. You try something, you try a diet, and then it goes well for a couple of days, weeks, but then you find that you can't sustain it because the clue is in the word that it's actually named a diet, and therefore you then jump from that thing to the next because it doesn't work for you. What dieting kind of teaches us is, unfortunately, this way of making bad assumptions or bad associations with food. What dieting tends to help us do, unfortunately, is things like categorize food into whether it's good or bad for us. All food has, I believe anyway, all foods have a certain amount of nutrition in it, and I think it boils down to actually looking at what the food is going to do for us and how many calories it's going to have in it. Okay, so what doesn't work, as we've looked at, is all of the short-term quick fixes. What does work is having a diet, a way of life that we can sustain, okay? And it's about finding a kind of nutrition plan, a balance in your normal eating that gives you three things. One, it gives you the awareness of what you're actually eating and drinking, because so many of us just eat and drink and aren't even aware or don't kind of track or measure what we're actually putting in our pie hole. The second thing is we want it to be balanced in terms of a mixture of stuff that we know is going to give us the things that our body needs, the nutrients, the vitamins, all that good stuff, whilst also keeping in some of the stuff that we enjoy that isn't necessarily going to give us that or those benefits in terms of the wines, the Proseccos, the chocolates, the cheeses, the pizzas, whatever it is that you enjoy. Finding the balance is about finding your balance, your way of eating and drinking that gives you, one, the awareness of what you're having to eat and drink, two, that balance of being able to keep in the stuff that you enjoy as well, and three, being able to ultimately sustain it and sustain it in the long term so that you can find a balance that gives you something that you're going to be able to keep to, something you're going to be able to stick to rather than keep chopping and changing. I mean, how much time, money, energy has been wasted over the years from us jumping from one diet to the next. So that is my take on how to work out and how to stop dieting and start eating normally. And this is one thing that we help all of our clients do at MPRS on all of the programs that we coach out on.